Hello, everybody. This is your host, Christian, and today we have Damien. Damien, welcome to the Ledger Show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, Damien, before starting with today's topics, can you give us some more information about your role at Bol and where does your team sit inside the company?
Sure. I'm Damien. I'm the product manager of the invoicing team within Bol.com, and so I'm working for Bol.com. Bol.com is a retail tech platform company. It's the market leader within the Netherlands and Belgium. So basically, we're the competitor of the big American company, but we are still in the Netherlands and Belgium the market leader now. And it basically what I'm doing within Bol.com is I'm responsible for we call it the financial processing. After you go to the checkout, for example, you buy something on our platform and you paid, then everything that comes after that, we're doing that. And we're doing that for customers on our platform, so private and business customers. And we're doing that also for our partners. So making sure that if they sell something on our platform, that we calculate the commission right, and we're making sure that we're invoicing all services that they take. And what we also do is we're doing the revenue recognition. We do it by transaction machines. We're doing billing and determining tax. And we're also doing the accounts receivable and accounts payable for Bol.com. So on the platform, and that's quite a volume there.
Okay, so you started pretty much 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
How was the team, or what was the team? Was there a team when you started?
Yeah, there was a team. So 3 years ago, in the start of 2020, just before the COVID pandemic hit the world, I started working with this team, and basically what you saw is that we had a lot of technical depth back then. I think the invoicing team consists of two innovation teams, one product, and what you see is that we had a hard time doing the things right and doing the right things, I guess, and especially from a perspective of the company that we wanted to grow really fast in revenue, and I think the product back then had the hard time keeping up and just being busy with running the business all the time. So no real starting on innovation and doing new stuff or delivering the right things for Bol.com for the future. And so not really fit for future back then.
Okay. What were the first things you focused on once you joined the company? It was getting the team on the right track.
Exactly. So I think it all started with some vision on it, like vision and strategy. And I think that's sometimes, especially if you talk about FinOps or financial operation, financial processing, I think vision and strategy is not the thing that you start thinking of right away. And I think vision is really, really important because people need to know where we're heading and for what are we delivering, this kind of stuff. So if you look at the product invoicing, we were serving multiple business models or multiple propositions within Bol.com or on the platform, but we didn't really know who these people or who these users are and what they need, and we even didn't know what they wanted to achieve in the future. So it started off with what can we deliver, where are we from, what are we responsible for? And really think on what can we do here. For example, the advertisement, we call it advertisement at Bol.com. If you want to do that and you want to deliver the proposition, you need to know what they're heading for and what they need from you to get the billing done.
I see. And something that you mentioned at the beginning, at Bol, you have both you sell directly to the consumers, but you also have the marketplace part. Within your team, who are the stakeholders, like the finance team, the engineering team?
Yeah. So if you look at from the product perspective, if I call it the product, maybe I should explain a little bit on that. If I call it the product, I mean business or product side and IT in one. So we're talking about engineering and the product managers or data analysts or all that kind of stuff. So basically what the stakeholders are, if you look at my product, then for example, the checkout team that's responsible for checkout within bol.com, it's a really important stakeholder. If you look at it from the partner perspective, the team that determines the commission model is really important for my team to determine the right revenue. And the accounting team is really important to send out all the events that lead to something in bookkeeping or in accountancy, in accounting. So it's really, we had lots of stakeholders, especially on the front side of our product, because if you look at the front side, also the subscriptions team is one of the teams that you need to take care of. The promotions teams, you need to understand them to make the right calculations, right? So I think the loads of stakeholders, that's the really difficult part of the job doing this at bol.com.
You mentioned that one of the problems that you had at the beginning was the chain reliability and payment matching.
Yeah.
How were this problem affecting you at the beginning?
Yeah, so when I started 3 years ago, what we started off with, or when I joined, there was already a thought on how can we get these chains of events and these processes and in our systems, how can we get them in control? Because we're not the classic ERP package, and we don't have the ERP package. We're doing all the things ourselves. Most of the things we're doing ourselves. So if you look at what we have, the microservice landscape, it's really difficult to keep that to have that in control and making sure that we're doing the right things and making the right calculations and making sure that everything that happens on the platform eventually end up in a bill or in an invoice, but also ends up in the bookkeeping system. So chain reliability is really important to know all the time, to be fully in control on all the streams of data, all the events, all the calculations, all the transactions, making sure that it ends up in the bookkeeping system. And what we delivered, I guess, in the last 3 years is making sure that we are in control of all these processes, especially when you have such a broad stakeholder group. You need to make sure that you're doing the right things, and that's quite challenging because you also have to know a little bit about all these business models, how their logic works, how the pricing model works, etc. And I'm really proud that we did eventually, and making sure that instead of focusing on being in control, after this we can focus on the speed of innovation and doing new stuff. That's on the chain reliability side. I think it's really cool that we have that at bol.com. And if you look at payment matching, as you mentioned earlier, I think we outsourced that to a third party for a long time. The performance was really outstanding with them. But if you look at the growth of bol.com and what we try to achieve, we wanted to get in control of our own of the process our own, and making sure that all the payments that we match on the open invoice and the open balances, that we do it ourselves. And it's really, really big. Like you can imagine that the company that we are, hundreds of thousands of payments a day. We can't do that by hand, right? So we need to automate that really, really at a high level with a high, and high grade of quality.
Okay. So where are you right now like if we compare it to where you took the team or where you started the team 3 years ago to also with the growth of bol.com?
Yeah. So where we are now, I think we are now more able than ever to be more scalable. I think if you look at what we're trying to do is basically fixing the basics. What we're focusing on for, let's say, 2.5, 3 years, and what we're now trying to achieve is how can we service these business models even better than we did before. And then you need to understand the customers again. So we did it basically back in the day to make sure that fixing the basics was fixing the right things in the right perspective. Like, do we have the right specs there? But now I think if you look at bol.com, we have some business models like selling on the platform and selling our own stuff at the platform and the advertisement flow, but also the logistical part of it, of bol.com that we're servicing the partners with. We're trying to be as close to these customers as we can to understand what they need or the customers of those business models needs are, and making sure that we're doing the right things. For example, we're trying to work on on the more product-led mindset, also within the financial processing, the invoicing team. Eventually, we have users, but we also have some end users, or let's say the real customers that are using our products, or we're doing it for. And I think keeping that in mind and keeping that in thought is something that we're trying to work on now, and also in the efficiency side.
Because you mentioned this product-led a couple of times, like how do you plan to leverage this? Like, or how do you see that? Like, because you mentioned this product-led growth a couple of times, how do you plan to leverage this for your finance operations?
Yeah. So basically, what we saw all the time was that we did a lot of things or innovated a lot of things without really knowing what the customer wants or what the end user wants from us, and especially we don't understand the problem enough. So the product-led mindset, for me, comes to: do you understand the problem and the job to be done of these customers really well? And is your solution that you thought of that you're already thinking of for some time now, is it really suitable, or does it really solve the problem? Can we measure that? And how do we know we're right? And I think that's something that especially with back office teams, right, with finance teams, we tend to forget that we're just doing the compliancy stuff and just making sure we're doing rules and regulations. But these people that we're trying to serve, or businesses that we're trying to serve, they just have a big, maybe another problem that we can solve with a much easier solution that costs less. And as market conditions are more difficult than it was, let's say, 2 years ago, you need to focus, you need to prioritize even better than you did before on what you're trying to achieve. And product-led will help you with that because of experimentation, for example. Fail fast. So
it means that you have like two different mindsets: one for some internal users, like, I don't know, the finance team, and another mindset for, I don't know, external users that are more dynamic, and maybe you're not in touch to them as with your internal teams.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to do now here is keeping that chain reliability mindset of making sure that we're in control. That has to stay forever, right? That's really important for a company, especially for us. And the other mindset is that we're doing this better for the user, but also keep in mind that we need to do this efficiently as possible. So we need to think of what do we cost? For example, if you consider, let's say Bol.com would consider, let's outsource the whole invoicing product to a supplier, right? We're not building it ourselves anymore. We're going to buy it from the market. Then I think that we have the obligation or something like that as a product within a company to make sure that we're doing this as cost efficient as possible without giving in on the quality of the product, but still being in control. I think that's the balance the balancing act that we're trying to achieve all the time. And cutting costs would, in my opinion, would lead to more innovation time, not just cutting costs, let's say reduce the P&L or reduce the cost on the P&L, but getting more time for innovation.
Like doing more with less.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's another mindset. Yeah. So I think that's the third one in here.
One question, so usually there is the build versus buy dichotomy, companies usually play with this, especially with things that maybe are not core. How did this evolve inside Bol? Like, it's something you consider is something that, no, we're going to just build this internally because we want to, I don't know, grow on this.
Yeah. So within Bol.com, we really fan and saying like what's it called? The quote, like, you build it, you run it, you love it, right? So an external application is not something that you build and then you run and then you love. So sure, you can configure it, or you can connect it to an API or something like that, or anything like it. But I think the teams that we're running are really owning the functionality, the tech, all that kind of stuff that we're asking them to do. And so basically, if you have that mindset, you won't buy that much if not needed, right? But eventually, if you look at the period to come and it's economical, more difficult to get the growth within Bol.com, for example, for Bol.com, then you need to consider buying something maybe even more. And maybe there are some specific qualities or specific services that other companies can do better than we can do it ourselves. So I think if you looking forward for the next couple of years, I think the buy option will be more present than it was before. I think we didn't need to buy, but I think maybe in the future teams and other companies can help us doing a better job by combining forces. So I think it helps. Yep.
Makes sense. If we look at 2023, I mean, everything changed. We had the pandemic before, and now it looks even worse. Like, where are like the top 2 or 3 priorities for 2023?
Yeah, for 2023, I think, as I mentioned, the efficiency of the product. So what we do see is because we had a lot of tech debt back in the day, we didn't know the right functionalities to deliver for our business models within bol.com. I think we need to focus on efficiency there and getting the most out of our innovation machine in that sense. But also focusing on the projects that come on the horizon for the next couple of years. For example, the platform fiction ruling within the EU. So platforms will be responsible for the VAT determination, but also declaration towards the VAT or the tax authorities. I think it's a really big one, especially for platforms like we are. I think that's something that will have a big impact on, especially on invoicing, finance, etc. I think we need to focus on that one as well. But also looking forward, I think the e-invoicing and e-reporting development within the market is also important for us then, because it's I think that won't go away. In the European Union, you keep on thinking, how can we close the VAT gap, for example? And these are all measures that try to close that.
So these are things that you plan to prioritize during 2023 inside your backlog, and we get a plan, okay?
Yeah, so basically I think it's a combination of 3 again. So of the 3 topics that I was mentioning already, I think fixing the basics still on what do we need to deliver on that, understand our business models, how can we make sure they fail fast and we fail fast and we'll learn fast by experimenting and delivering on that, but also looking forward. And if you're asking me for the foreseeable, let's say, what we're also trying to investigate is how I think we have a capability now within bol.com, within invoicing, and we might be able to sell that someday. So change from a cost center towards a profit center. I think it's not for 2023 on the roadmap now, but I think it's something that we're trying to keep in mind. Yeah,
that's an interesting take. So how do you see this evolving? Like selling this to partners or selling this to?
Yeah, so if you look at as the big competitor that I was mentioning, I think they are really they're more ahead on that than we are at the moment. I think they are constantly or continuously thinking on how can we help these partners, for example, on our platform deliver more value, and how can we be of more value for them. And I think the thing on selling services or being able to do that is 2 sides. And I think two sides of the same medal on this side and on that behalf. I think if you are thinking about this, then you're going to think about quality and cost. So it helps you. I think it's really also some inspiring, like it's, we might be able to do that in the future. I'm not sure if invoicing is the most important thing to sell, right, towards partners, if we have the most value for them, but it might be the case, and we can investigate that in this year or in the next half year, in the second half year of 2023. I think getting your getting outside of the company and hear what the market wants or asks for, and we can see if it is a market fit the things that we're delivering.
Okay. So it's going to be like Bol Web Services or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the web service is really something that we can offer, but I'm really convinced on, for example, on VAT that we can help them. And of course, legislation comes now, right? So we need to help them. So that's maybe the win-win situation here. But for example, we're doing the payment matching, or we're processing those payments and doing the accounts receivable on that. I think we're doing it at such a high volume, at such a great quality. I think that's something that might be interesting for other companies as well. But if we're going to do that, it's not only up to me to do this, of course.
When you mention accounts receivable, you mean collecting payments, or you do anything related to collection and dunning?
No, the dunning and collection is done by another product. It's really, of course, near to my team, my product, but it's really near. What I mean here is the balance management kind of stuff. So we're running the administration on that. So we're processing payments and we're putting the invoices in and the orders in and the pre-orders in, etc., and making sure that we're or refunding customers in case of returns, or making sure that we're processing those payments and closing those balances.
Okay, interesting. You talk about the importance of efficiency a couple of times. If you try to unpack this concept, how are you tracking efficiency, or what it means inside the bowl?
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer right away, because I think we have multiple angles here. So if you look at it from the invoicing team again, we are serving multiple business models. So we're serving, let's say, standard functionality to all business models, because of course everybody, all these business models or all these business models within Bol.com need to be invoiced, right? They need to have a balance on that, or administration. You can't just change it. It needs to be done. But certain teams need, for example, different invoicing rhythms, or they asking us to do the revenue recognition of we determine or making a VAT calculation. And what we need to think of, I think, continuously is, what does it cost to run it? For example, on the tech side, what does the cloud cost are, or what is the tech stack, what is the personnel cost? And is it still measurable within towards the market? Are we doing a great job here? And of course, you can say, if you can do it with the team, that's fine. I think we should be more aware of the value that we can deliver and make it more clear. And so efficiency means for me taking all costs and all benefits into account. And that can be quality scores as well, right? So it doesn't always need to be in euros, but it can also be in people's happiness, for example, in the team. If you're really happy working in this team because it's inspiring and you're doing cool stuff and innovating, that's also some value for the company.
Do you have any KPI or metric that you think you can share? I don't know, number of invoices created by day or...
Yeah, so I was thinking on this. I'm not sure what was already on the website or what we can or can't share, of course. But we're creating over 100 invoices or bills. It depends on how you look at it. If you're talking about we're invoicing, for example, all our partners once a month. Most of the partners, and some we're invoicing twice a month because they get paid a little bit faster than others on our platform because of an experiment that we're doing. So then you're talking about all those partners. Yeah, I guess it's 50,000 or 60,000 or something like that. So that's the amount of invoice that we create every month. Yeah, and what we do create is for each customer, each order, we're creating the bill, right, or the invoice for in their account. So that's basically for the whole revenue that's related to our own shop. And then we're creating, not sure in English, but it's more like a payment overview. For example, if you buy something with a partner, a retailer on our platform, then we can't create the invoice, of course, but we're going to create a payment overview and making sure that you're getting some kind of a bill on that side. So that's over 100 invoices a year. That has to be correct, of course.
Something that you mentioned at the beginning was the problem with the chain reliability, so to track all the payments. Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, if I understood it correctly, you built a system of records within the entire company to track payments and the documents. Okay.
Yeah, for example, so what we're basically doing is we're tracking the data that comes from, for example, on the checkout. So if you do something in the checkout and then you're getting an order in, so we're following this order through the landscape, all those services. We're making sure that for an order, you have two order lines, and we're going to check if these two order lines, we're doing the right revenue recognition at the right moment in time, right? That's really important, of course, for bookkeeping periods, etc. Then we're going to track, did we create an invoice? And if so, then we are checking, did we put it in the administration? So yes, and if right, okay, did we put it in the bookkeeping system in the right way? Yes, okay. And then we're complete here, for example. And all that kind of stuff we're trying to follow. And we call it within Bol.com as chain reliability, but it's, because we call it kind of a chain. And then we have different chains at different, for different business models or different stakeholders.
I mean, from the outside, it can look like a trivial problem, just counting things. But I know marketplaces, they don't have this. And so they don't know how much they have to pay to their merchants, to the partners.
Yeah, of course, this solution doesn't come from out of nothing, right? It's twofold. Of course, we saw some problems back in the day. Maybe I wasn't involved back then, but we saw some problems that we weren't complete, or the bookkeeping system wasn't really up to par at that moment. Like it wasn't complete, or there was something on the balance that shouldn't be there, or something like that. So that, of course, there was a problem. Otherwise, we wouldn't have solved this. And the other side of things, I think, getting this thought in, also within the engineering teams, making sure that everybody understands what they're doing. It's really important to get that mindset across. So it was also on the things you do matter, right? It's really, really important, and that changed a lot for us.
Yeah. Okay, Damien, it's time to wrap up. Are you ready for a quick fire round of questions?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so what is the best piece of career advice that you have received?
Sorry, again?
Yeah, the best piece of career advice that you have received.
The carry on? Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I think the connection just dropped, dropped
so
a bit.
What is the best piece of career advice that you have received?
The carrier advice.
Yeah.
For you mean the package carrier, or
No, like the best advice that you have received from a career perspective.
A career perspective. Sorry. Now I understand what you.
No worries.
The career, what I have received ever.
Yeah.
I would say show what with the or show your enthusiasm and energy on a topic if you have that. Show the passion, because people will tend to get onto that energy and onto that enthusiasm. I think that's really important to show that, and especially do that in the first 6 months to a year within a company. If you do that, people will see, and people will try to join your team. Yep.
I think I read this also from your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, is it? I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't updated that in a while.
What book would you recommend to our audience?
Outcomes Over Output by Josh Seiden.
Okay, I'm going to write this down.
I like it a lot. It's a real good read. It's only 45-minute read. It's on I like it a lot. I would say Escaping the Bill Trap. I like it a lot too. That's also one. Yep.
What's your main passion outside of work?
I'm a korfball coach at the highest level within the Netherlands, and that's something I do for 20 hours next to my job, 20 hours a week, and I like that so much. That's the other passion I have. Yep.
Nice. Where do you plan to travel this year?
I'm planning with some friends to go on a trip in October, November to the United States to watch American football games.
Okay. I think they just had the Super Bowl today or yesterday.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay. And the last one, who are like 1 or 2 other podcast guests that you would like to listen to?
It's typically Dutch. So, but I like we call it the Snopcast. It's about it's with Jort Kelder. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's a what's it called again, etiquette, etc. Within how you should behave on certain levels, and when you go to the Queen or meeting with the King or with something like that. And I really like that podcast. And we have some soccer podcasts as well. I like that as well. Yeah,
Feels you're really into sport, like European soccer, okay, and American football.
Yeah,
okay,
that's correct.
Okay, cool. So if people want to find out more about Bol, they can check the website, bol.com.
Exactly.
And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
You can send me a message on LinkedIn. You can send me a message on Twitter. I'm a Twitter fan as well, still. So I'm using that as well. And you can also send me an email, but my email is also on my LinkedIn page. So you can use that.
So I'm going to put your LinkedIn profile and Twitter profile inside the show notes. And Damien, thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure and wishing you the best.
Thanks for having me. And if you're interested in any of these topics, just have a quick chat. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.